Why I quit homeschooling after 2 weeks. So it goes back to 8th grade where I went to public school. I actually went to public school my whole life and it was always fine, not really any problems or anything. But when I reached 8th grade, I would say specifically junior high, is when things started to get difficult for me. So I was in like a science class, and I didn't talk about my faith like a ton in school, but I did a little bit here and there. But it wasn't until 8th grade where I was really made fun of for being a Christian. And I was really surprised because, I don't know, even though I didn't talk about it that much, I just assumed like that there'd be more people that agree. So anyways, or at least people that would be open to it. So what happened is I was in my science class and they were teaching about evolution, and they were talking about how we come from apes. And I was kind of surprised that we were even talking about that because I didn't remember having that conversation or learning about that in the previous years. It was just 8th grade, and they were reading from it and talking about it from the textbook as if it was a fact and like the only way. So I was like, that's not true. And I remember there was a table. It was like how they have the table set up, at least in this science class, is where there are 2 people facing you, and then there's so 2 people on this side, 2 people on that side, 2 people on this, like almost like a square, and you're all facing and looking at each other. And I think the reason why it's like that in science class is so you can easily work on projects together, and it's more of like a group setting. So anyways, we're all looking at each other, and I'm like, oh, that's not true. We don't come from apes. And they were more like, yeah, we do. Like, it's a fact. And I'm like, no, that's not true at all. Like, we're people. Like, if we came from apes, right? Then the apes that there are today would be already transforming into humans, and like midway, like we'd have evidences of the apes being in between. And they're like, well, what do you believe? Like, if you don't believe that, then what do you believe? And I got so excited because I was like, yay, this is time that I could share my faith and that I love Jesus and that he died for our sins and we're forgiven and we could be free in his grace and in his love. So I got so excited that I know I should have been paying attention during class, but I wasn't. Instead, I was sitting there and I was writing a note to them, answering what they just asked me, because they just asked me what I believe, and this is an opportunity that I could share the gospel. So I wrote literally single-spaced front and back on this piece of paper that I had. This, I think it was a lined paper. It was front and back, and that Jesus died, God's only son. He sent his only son, Jesus, to die for our sins, and how he loves us so much, and how all we have to do is believe in him and confess and all that kind of stuff, right? So excited. Couldn't wait. So I passed it to them. I sent it to them. And the first kid that started watching or that read it was just like laughing as he was reading it, or whoever it was. And then continues to actually pass it around to other students, and then they start laughing, making fun of me, like laughing, like just, I don't know. And I'm a person that I actually love people, and I love being around people. I like socializing. I like being friends with everybody. So because of my personality type and that I love people, I also do care about what they think too. I know I shouldn't, but I do because I really love people. And so the fact that they were making fun of me, thought it was ridiculous and laughing, I was horrified. Like, I was really sensitive because now that I'm older, and if that happened, I would be like, oh, well, they don't know the truth. Like, just I have thicker skin now than I did when I was in junior high. I was more sensitive, and so that really broke me. It was really traumatizing to be made fun of that hard. So, it was, I think, closer to the end of 8th grade, so I knew what was coming next, and that was high school. High school was coming next, and I know high school would even be less forgiving, less intense, more judgment. Like, I just didn't think that I could handle it, because I feel like some people don't care, and they're like, oh well, and they could stand up, and I just feel like I was just more sensitive, and I needed to be nourished in my delicate feelings. So anyways, I cried. I was crying to my parents when I was supposed to go to high school, and that would be the public high school. Huge, right? Both my siblings went there. They turned out great. Like, I feel like they're stronger than me. Anyways, I'm trying to think, because I'm trying to remember where my brown eyeliner is. Okay, so anyways, back to the story. I was really sensitive and hurt, so I cried to my parents, and I was actually really surprised with their response. I was crying. I told them, and I wasn't thinking homeschool. I just knew I couldn't go to school. So just the dread and the thought of going to high school, I knew that, like, it would be even more severe. And, like, some people were like, duh, they're making fun of you, whatever. But for me, it was an actually horrifying experience. When I was crying saying that I can't go to school, my parents agreed, and they said that I didn't have to go to school. And I wasn't thinking homeschool. I'm just like, I can't go to school. I don't even think that was on my radar or in my thoughts or anything of an option. So sure enough, my parents were like, okay, you don't have to go to school. Like, you'll be homeschooled. And at that time, like, my mom had her own business. It was an in-home daycare. So my dad, he was at work all day. And then my mom was at home all day working with her in-home daycare. And she did a fabulous job with that. She was amazing. And so I stayed home. So I was only homeschooled for 2 weeks, and this is why. So I got my books. I was super excited. I couldn't wait to open them. I couldn't wait because I'm more of an independent person. Like, even when I was in school, I would listen to the teacher, give directions, all of that, and I would have to, like, kind of figure it out by myself when I got home. So then I thought, like, yeah, I can ask my mom for help in between, and then I can do a lot of the work on my own. Well, anyways, I started and I did a lot of math. I'm actually a lot better at math than the other subjects. So I, of course, started with math, and that was like the easiest thing. But when it got to the other subjects, like history and like even the language, all of it, I kind of struggled. And so I was not somebody that was really good in school. I was not a good student until I got in high school. And so I struggled. And so I would ask my mom for help, but she was, with doing the daycare and all of that. And so she was like, oh, let's just do school tomorrow. So I was like, okay. So I kind of, even though I did some math, I would like do math, but then I would like be like, okay, well, I'll do the other subjects tomorrow. And I kind of did that every day. Like, I'd be like, oh, Mom, I need help with this. She's like, oh, I don't really know how to do that. And at the same time, I have to say that she was busy working full time. And so at the same time, I totally get it. Now that I have my own kids, it is like really crazy. Really, really crazy. So then I was like, okay, I don't know, 2 weeks went by and I just wasn't getting to my work. And so they realized like, oh, like we need to do something else. So what we did is, it was already late of starting of the school year, but they put me in a Christian private school. And I cannot tell you what a blessing that was, and life-changing and amazing. And I went all 4 years, and I went from horrible student to straight A's for almost like all 4 years. And that's going to be in the next video.